Have you ever met a person who's just impossible to anger? Like, you could do just about anything to them, and they could easily keep their wits about them. There's nothing that can faze them. I admire those people, I really do, and I've devoted quite a bit of energy towards efforts to become like them, because I know that anger, at least in the form that I end up getting it in, is not particularly productive. I thought that I was making really significant strides in my transformation. Then I watched Rent a Girlfriend episode 1. Then I watched episode 2. Then episode 3. These episodes were actually killing me. Kazuya, the main character, was so intolerable and I couldn't bear it, so naturally I stopped subjecting myself to the torture and moved on to starting a good show like Full Metal Alchemist. Why am I finishing season 3 now? So, Rent a Girlfriend is basically the type of show that is so bad that it's good, but also you're never happy with how garbage it is, so instead you're perpetually angry at the show. It takes every harem anime cliche up to an 11 out of 10, and then mixes in a wild Kazuya. Saying Kazuya is a good guy is like saying mommy is best girl. Nobody in their right mind could ever say it unironically. He's a walking dumpster fire. He takes literally any situation, and just by being in its eye line, it immediately becomes 20 times worse. It isn't like Kazuya is cursed by bad luck or anything. This isn't Izumi from Shikimori-san. Kazuya creates his poor circumstances. Basically, if you haven't seen the show, Rent a Girlfriend is about Kazuya, who got dumped by his first ever girlfriend after a month, and then in his depression, he decided to click an ad he saw on social media about renting a girlfriend. The person he meets through that rental service is Chizuru Mitsuhara, also known as basically the only tolerable character in this entire show. Seriously, Chizuru is basically the only redeeming factor of this show. Anyways, Chizuru and Kazuya end up going to visit Kazuya's grandmother in the hospital during their date, and Kazuya's grandmother actually knows Chizuru's grandmother, which means they have to pretend like they were actually dating. I would say that this is a dumpster fire of a plot, and it is, but also, for a harem anime, it isn't too far-fetched. What is far-fetched is Kazuya. I've seen some people say that Kazuya is one of the most relatable anime protagonists ever, and all of you people who can relate to this guy, respectfully stay as far away from my life as you can. He literally punched one of his boys for not understanding the situation between him and Chizuru, despite the fact that he never gave any explanation for it. He is the #1 largest simp I've seen in anime, and that fact isn't even played off for comedic effect. That's just his character. This man is literally the worst person I've ever seen throughout season 1. Like, listen, I get that this man's trying to get over a heartbreak, but that doesn't make 90% of the things he does okay. You think that part where he punched his boy over not understanding the situation was bad? Nah. The best illustration of what an absolute douche Kazuya is when he and Chizuru end up going to a drinking party with all of Kazuya's friends. All the friends think Chizuru is Kazuya's new girlfriend. His ex-girlfriend Mami ended up being there, and she started making fun of Kazuya. Chizuru, like the ultimate best girl she is, stood up for Kazuya, saying that he was a good guy who didn't deserve any of the hate that Mami was tossing onto him. I should probably remind you that Chizuru isn't Kazuya's actual girlfriend, and she was forced to go to this drinking party against her will. Despite all that, Chizuru's tossing herself in to defend Kazuya, and Kazuya's response?
It's just how I am. She's not wrong.
So that's why everybody hates Kazuya in a nutshell. He does things like this throughout the first few episodes. The man is irredeemable. And the second he does something that looks like he's going to redeem himself, he just does another stupid thing that makes us realize, oh, that's right, it's Kazuya. Hope never existed here. It's a classic scenario of one step forward, 2 steps back, and that's basically the entire first and second season in a nutshell. It's the most infuriating show ever, and that is why I have a love-hate relationship with it. See, the point of fictional stories is to invoke emotions that touch your soul, and Rent a Girlfriend does that very effectively. It's just that it's not an emotion that most of us want to feel, but can we really blame the show for that? Well, yeah, we can, but the show's effectiveness is only because of how it infuriates the viewer. It makes the viewer think, I hate this show. I despise every godforsaken second of it. Where is the next episode? We're pushed forward to understand how the heck Kazuya can screw up more than he already has, and each episode simultaneously does and doesn't disappoint, because it tells us exactly how Kazuya can screw up more for 2 seasons straight. Which brings us to now. It brings us to me, watching each episode of Rent-a-Girlfriend Season 3 weekly as they aired. And I can't believe I'm about to say this, but Kazuya managed to actually take more steps forward than backward in this season. See, I expected Kazuya to be running in an infinite loop forever, especially since each opening literally has a scene of him running in an infinite loop. But in Season 3, he breaks free. Throughout Season 3, yes, Kazuya is still the demigod of the Simps, but we can actually see his efforts towards becoming a better person actually taking form. The first 2 seasons were a cycle of, yes, Kazuya is doing it, he's doing something good. Wait, no, stop, please, stop it, no! And it just became a subconscious idea through those 2 seasons that Kazuya could do nothing right. But then Season 3, he does a good thing, and we're left wondering, okay, when's he going to screw it up? We wait a couple of episodes, wait, he doesn't screw it up. It's a miracle! Literally, this entire season had us following a completely different form of Kazuya that cast aside all of his previous selfish motives and just helps Chizuru. Also, this season has basically no mommy scream time, which is always good, because something that became a very common trend is that Kazuya always screws up anything good he has going when mommy's on screen. Season 3 is literally the first time I saw Kazuya do something and I was just smiling in my head, like, yes, Kazuya, go forth, my king. Spoilers for Season 3 ahead, but honestly, if you haven't seen the show, you just shouldn't watch it, so spoilers don't matter. Anyway, Season 3 is basically following Chizuru and Kazuya making a movie together because Chizuru is an aspiring actress who wants to get a part in a movie before her grandmother dies. And Kazuya is a simp who also cares about Chizuru's grandmother. My king's best moment is when Chizuru's grandmother is on her deathbed. Unable to go to a theater to watch the movie, he walks into the room silently, and without saying a word, he sets up his laptop, puts the movie on the projector, and leaves so that the last thing Chizuru's grandmother sees is her daughter living out her dream as an actress. It's a little ironic that the one scene where he is completely silent is his best moment, but hey, sometimes silence speaks louder than words. Kazuya did it. He became a bearable anime protagonist with meaningful character development that made sense, and Rent-a-Girlfriend Season 3 was actually kinda good. A lot of people bash on the show, but I genuinely feel like some of the characters are really well written in it. As I said before, Chizuru is a very tolerable character throughout the series, and is among the most human characters I've ever seen in fiction. She calls Kazuya out on his stupidity, gets angry, goes through stuff, but unlike a lot of fictional characters who hold these stupid grudges forever, Chizuru does what a normal person would do. Take care of the issue, and then let it pass, and allow things to go back to normal. She isn't stupid out of spite. Even if she's angry, she thinks things through whenever she's put in a bind, and then she yells at Kazuya for putting her into a bind afterwards, because naturally, it was always Kazuya's fault. As for Kazuya, as much as I bashed him in this video, I do think the bigger picture has to be acknowledged for his character. Yes, Kazuya has his starting line as an intolerable simp that we can't get enough of watching fail. But as we go through the series, he starts taking fewer and fewer steps backwards, and is really trying to prove that he is a caring person. We all have a different starting line with our personalities in the real world based on our upbringing and overall environment. It just so happens that Kazuya's wasn't as good as all of ours. Hopefully. But Kazuya's trying to be a person who looks after the people he cares about. He's trying to move past the idea of being a simping degenerate, and trying to be a caring person who casts aside his simping tendencies, and looks simply at what he can do to help the people he cares about. Kazuya is a man doing his best to become a better person, and as of Season 3's completion, he's succeeding. Aspiring to be a better person than who we used to be for the sake of others is something that we can all actually learn from Kazuya. Devoting ourselves to the cause of helping other people we care about can help us reach new heights that were previously unreachable. It worked for Kazuya, it usually works for me, and it could work for all of you too. I'm not sure about the future of Rent-a-Girlfriend. Given how long the manga is, I'm sure Kazuya somehow screws up again and we go back to square one. But for now, with where we are in the anime, Kazuya's a pretty good person, and the show's running a respectable course. Yes, the show's garbage, the plot's absolutely insane, and the probability of most of the things that happen in the show happening are next to zero. But with Season 3's release, I'm finding myself actually enjoying this trash. Rent-A-Girlfriend is trash, but as an enjoyer of this infuriatingly enjoyable garbage dump, so am I. Jesus, I can't wait to talk about an actually good anime next week. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, you know how it is. I have 2 unscreens up here, and I assure you both of them are talking about significantly better anime than Rent-A-Girlfriend. I don't even know what end screens I'm going to put for this video. All I know is that they're better. Anyways, see y'all later. Bye.